What if the secret to sparking genuine desire and being truly unforgettable lies in something as counterintuitive as setting boundaries? Imagine walking into a room not as someone readily available to everyone, but as someone with an unmistakable sense of self-worth. The energy shifts. People notice you differently, not for how much you give away, but for how firmly you hold on to your values and protect your time. As strange as it sounds, when you set boundaries, you begin to radiate a magnetism that's far stronger than merely being liked. This is the core of Stoic philosophy, mastering yourself and your life so fully that you become a person others admire, respect, and yes, desire. Setting boundaries isn't about pushing people away. It's about creating space for the right ones to step in. Think of it like a beautifully designed garden. Without a fence, anyone can wander in, trample over your plants, and leave without a second thought. But when you set up a gate and carefully choose who enters, your garden becomes a sanctuary, something special and cherished. The same is true of our personal boundaries. Without them, we give away our energy to anyone who asks, often at the cost of our peace and self-respect. But when we create intentional limits, we transform into someone who's deeply respected, valued, and ultimately unforgettable. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, once said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." In other words, embrace the discomfort of standing your ground, even if it's misunderstood. When we say no to what doesn't serve us, we are perceived differently, sometimes even as selfish. But in reality, we're reclaiming our worth. We're choosing to let go of the need to be liked by everyone so we can be genuinely respected by those who matter. And ironically, this refusal to please everyone makes us unforgettable. People are naturally drawn to those who value their own presence. Consider the allure of a locked room. The very fact that it's inaccessible, that there's a barrier between it and the outside world, makes it intriguing. People wonder, what's behind that door? What could be so precious it needs to be protected? We hold this same kind of allure when we guard our own energy and time. When we aren't available to everyone at any moment, we become like that locked room, inviting curiosity, respect, and even longing. People begin to wonder what they're missing, why you're not as accessible as everyone else. They start valuing the moments you do share because they realize your time and energy aren't freely given, they're earned. When we think of boundaries, many of us feel resistance, perhaps even fear. We worry, what if they get upset? What if I lose people? But Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Your boundaries color the way you're perceived in the world. They signal confidence, self-worth, and emotional maturity. Instead of pushing people away, these boundaries help to filter out those who were only there for convenience, leaving space for those who genuinely appreciate and respect you. Imagine for a moment being a rare gemstone. You aren't found on every street corner, handed out to anyone who wants to admire your shine. Rare gems are protected, often hidden away behind glass in the finest jewelry stores. People must make an effort, wait patiently, and even spend a fortune to have access to them. And it's this rarity, this exclusivity that fuels their desirability. When you protect your time and energy, you're sending a message to the world. I am valuable, and access to me is not given freely. This shift doesn't just make people want to be around you, it makes them appreciate you in a way they never would have if you were always available. In a world where everyone is competing for attention, constantly seeking approval, you set yourself apart by setting boundaries. Instead of running after validation, you become the one who attracts it naturally. This is the art of becoming unforgettable through Stoicism, not by trying to impress others, but by holding fast to your values and knowing that your worth doesn't depend on anyone else's opinion. Seneca, another great Stoic, once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." When you stop craving others' approval, you become rich in a way that's rare and unforgettable. By embracing boundaries, you gain a type of power that doesn't rely on manipulation or pretense. It's the quiet strength of self-respect. People who once overlooked you begin to notice. Those who took you for granted start to wonder why you're no longer so available. And that's when a shift occurs. Instead of wondering if people value you, you find that they are drawn to you naturally. Your boundaries create a magnetic force around you because they reflect a person who knows their own value. Take the ocean, for example. It's vast, beautiful, and undeniably powerful, but if it didn't have shores to contain it, it would flood everywhere, losing its depth and mystery. The shore is its boundary, giving it form and presence. When we establish boundaries, we become like the ocean, mysterious, powerful, and respected. People know where they stand with you, and they appreciate the depth of your presence when they're in it, because they know it's not infinite or indiscriminately shared. Setting boundaries is not about shutting people out or creating walls. It's about deciding who gets a seat in your life and at what cost. When you value your presence, others follow suit. They see that your attention, your kindness, and your time are gifts, not guarantees. This scarcity doesn't create distance, it creates intimacy. Only those who truly see your worth are willing to step up, and in this way, boundaries become a tool not for isolation, but for deeper, more meaningful connections. So, if you want to be unforgettable, start by embracing boundaries. Be like the rare gemstone, the locked room, the ocean with its shore. Let your presence be a privilege, not a right. When you set boundaries, you aren't just protecting yourself, you're inviting others to value you as you truly are. And in doing so, you don't just become respected, you become desired, unforgettable in the most genuine sense. Affirmations hold an incredible power to reshape our thoughts and, ultimately, our lives. When we speak affirmations with intention, we begin to rewire our minds, training ourselves to see our value and stand strong in our worth. An affirmation isn't just a set of words, it's a declaration to the universe and a reminder to ourselves of who we choose to be. By repeating affirmations, we align ourselves with a mindset that draws respect, value, and desire. With every repetition, we reinforce a belief in our own strength, resilience, and self-worth. Here's an affirmation to help you stay grounded in your boundaries and remind you of your value. I respect my boundaries, and those who value me will too. Write it down in the comments below to make it real. Say it, believe it, and let it be your mantra as you navigate relationships and prioritize yourself. If this video resonated with you, please give it a like and consider subscribing to our channel. We're working hard to bring you empowering content to help you become the best version of yourself. Your support means the world to us. Number 1. Wear your boundaries. Like armor, not chains. What if the boundaries you set could be as powerful and protective as a suit of armor? Often people think of boundaries as restrictions, walls that keep others out and make them feel isolated or detached. But the truth is, boundaries aren't meant to be chains that hold you back. They're like armor, forged from self-respect and self-worth, protecting what's most valuable: your peace, your energy, and your well-being. Setting boundaries is one of the most liberating acts you can undertake. It's not about creating barriers between yourself and others, but about safeguarding your time, energy, and mental health. Think about it this way. Armor doesn't limit the knight. It empowers them to stand strong and face any challenge. When you wear your boundaries like armor, you're equipping yourself to engage with the world on your terms, with your values and well-being intact. A powerful reminder from Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, says, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Boundaries aren't restrictions, they're a way to master yourself, guiding how you spend your time and who you allow into your inner circle. When you set boundaries, you aren't shutting people out. You're defining the conditions under which you interact, valuing your own worth, and ensuring that others respect it too. This isn't about pushing people away. It's about knowing who truly values you enough to respect the armor you wear. Imagine your life as a treasured castle, and your boundaries are the walls protecting its beauty. Without those walls, anyone can come and go as they please, taking what they want and leaving when it suits them. But when you build strong, respectful boundaries, you turn your life into a sanctuary. Only those who honor and appreciate your worth gain entry, and the castle remains a place of peace, beauty, and value. People recognize that access to you isn't given freely. It's a privilege they must earn. Your boundaries transform you from someone who's easily accessible into someone who's deeply respected. Many people fear setting boundaries, thinking it will isolate them, but it's the opposite. Boundaries attract the right kind of people, those who appreciate your value. When you're clear about your limits, you invite only those who resonate with your self-respect and aren't looking to take advantage. By wearing your boundaries like armor, you attract relationships and connections that nourish you instead of draining you. Boundaries, like armor, may feel heavy at first, but with time, they become a source of strength. The more you use them, the stronger and lighter they feel, until they're simply part of who you are. Think of boundaries as the roots of a strong tree. The tree doesn't apologize for its roots. It needs them to stand tall and weather storms. In the same way, your boundaries give you the resilience to stand tall in the face of challenges, respecting your energy, time, and emotional well-being. Boundaries allow you to show up as your best self because you're not pouring from an empty cup. And in the end, it's this sense of self-respect that makes you unforgettable. So, wear your boundaries like armor. Let them protect you, define you, and remind others of your worth. Each time you set a boundary, you strengthen the shield that keeps you whole and at peace. And the more you respect yourself, the more others will respect you too. Here's an affirmation to help you remember your worth. My boundaries protect my peace and define my value. Write this in the comments to commit to this mindset and reinforce it in your life. If this lesson resonated with you, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. We're working hard to bring you empowering, life-changing content to help you live with confidence and respect. Number 2, become the mountain, not the river. Imagine this. In the face of a storm, a mountain stands tall and firm, unmoved by the forceful winds or the relentless downpour. It's unwavering, rooted deep, and unyielding to the elements around it. Now, think of a river in that same storm. It bends, twists, and conforms to every obstacle, flowing wherever it's pushed. When it comes to setting boundaries, the secret to sparking desire and being truly unforgettable lies in choosing to be like the mountain, not the river. Being like a mountain means having strength, solidity, and self-respect. You don't shift or bend to meet everyone's expectations or whims. Instead, you're anchored in your values, with boundaries that protect your peace and self-worth. People are naturally drawn to those who exude stability and confidence because they know that this strength isn't easily found. As the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "Stand firm, for it is your ground." When you embody the mountain, you stand firm in your truth, letting others see the power in your stillness and self-assuredness. Consider the difference between a mountain and a river in everyday life. The river represents a person who adapts constantly, changing to meet the needs or desires of others. Maybe you know someone like this, or perhaps you've been this person yourself, saying yes when you really want to say no, bending your plans to fit others' schedules, or altering your personality to feel accepted. Like a river, it feels easier to go with the flow, hoping others will recognize your worth if you're flexible enough. But here's the truth. When we constantly change to accommodate others, we often lose a sense of ourselves. People stop seeing our true value, viewing us as easily available and even predictable. The allure of someone who's always bending fades quickly. In contrast, the mountain person knows who they are and doesn't feel the need to shift to meet external pressures. People respect and admire those who stand firm in their values, and that steady presence becomes magnetic. Like the mountain, they radiate a quiet power that others can't help but be drawn to. Think of this in terms of relationships. When you're always bending to meet someone else's needs, they start to expect it, taking your presence for granted. But if you hold firm, grounded in your worth, something changes. People begin to see that your time and energy are not given freely. They respect the boundaries you've set because they realize it takes effort to earn a place in your life. This is the essence of setting boundaries that spark desire. You become someone they have to work for, someone worth respecting, and yes, even desiring. Let's take it a step further. A mountain doesn't feel the need to explain why it's standing still. It doesn't shout, demand, or justify itself. It simply is. When you embody this mountain mindset, you communicate your boundaries through your actions and presence. You don't need to over-explain or justify your choices. Just like the mountain, your strength lies in your stillness and the confidence that comes from knowing your own worth. Imagine if you could adopt this sense of stability in your own life. Picture how differently people would treat you if they saw that your boundaries were non-negotiable. If they felt the power of your presence, knowing that you stand firm, they would realize that your time, energy, and attention are valuable treasures. Instead of being like the river, constantly shifting, choose to stand as the mountain. Let others see that they must rise to meet your standards, rather than you lowering yours. So, here's a reminder. You don't have to bend to be loved, appreciated, or respected. You deserve relationships and connections that honor who you are without requiring you to change to fit someone else's mold. Stand firm, hold your ground, and let others see the beauty in your strength. I am strong like a mountain. I stand firm in my worth. Write this in the comments as a declaration of your commitment to becoming unwavering in your self-respect and boundaries. If this message resonated with you, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. We're dedicated to creating content that empowers you to live a life of confidence, respect, and inner peace. Number 3. Hold court with selective presence. Imagine yourself as a royal figure holding court. You sit in your throne room, calm and composed, with an aura of self-respect that commands the room. Only those who truly value your presence and respect your worth are granted an audience with you. This is the essence of holding court with selective presence. It's about curating the energy you allow around you, choosing who gets to experience the full depth of who you are. When you master this art, you don't just become memorable, you become unforgettable. In life, we often feel pressured to be accessible to everyone, as if constantly being available is a mark of kindness or strength. But true strength lies in being discerning with your energy. Holding court with selective presence doesn't mean you're withholding yourself from others. It means you're choosing to be present only with those who respect, appreciate, and uplift you. Just as a monarch's time is precious and not given freely to every passerby, your presence is valuable and shouldn't be wasted on those who don't see its worth. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, said, "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly." Knowing who you are and understanding your value is the key to setting boundaries with grace. When you know your worth, you naturally become more selective with who you let into your inner circle. This isn't about arrogance. It's about honoring yourself enough to ensure that your time and energy are respected. Imagine a radiant gemstone kept in a secure, velvet-lined case. It's admired not just because it's beautiful, but because it's rare, and not everyone gets to hold it. You, too, are like this gemstone. When you're selective with your presence, you create a sense of exclusivity and value around yourself. People are naturally drawn to what isn't easily accessible, and by honoring your time and choosing who to share it with, you build an aura of intrigue and respect. Think about this. When you're constantly available to everyone, people start to take your presence for granted. But the moment you become more intentional with who gets access to your time and energy, you send a message that your presence is a privilege, not a given. Suddenly, those who overlooked you start to take notice. Your selective presence creates a dynamic where people realize they have to be genuinely worthy of your time and attention. It's like the anticipation and excitement of waiting for an audience with someone important. It builds desire and appreciation. Holding court with selective presence is an invitation for people to respect the boundaries you set. It's a powerful reminder that you have agency over who gets to be in your life. Like the gates to a beautiful private garden, your selective presence creates an entryway only accessible to those who genuinely value you. This approach is not about shutting people out, but about creating a space where those who enter appreciate the beauty and peace you bring. As you begin to hold court with selective presence, you'll notice a change. The people who approach you will be those who understand your value and are willing to honor it. Those who don't respect your worth will naturally drift away, leaving space for relationships that truly enrich your life. By choosing who gets access to you, you create a life that reflects your highest values and self-worth. Remember, your presence is a gift. It's not something to be distributed freely without thought or care. Holding court with selective presence is about embodying self-respect and recognizing that not everyone deserves a front-row seat in your life. As the Stoics teach, we are responsible for what we allow into our lives. So, choose wisely. Let your presence be a beacon of confidence and value, not an open door for those who might drain you. To remind yourself of this strength, say this affirmation: "My presence is valuable, and I choose wisely who I share it with." Write it down in the comments below as a declaration of your worth. If this lesson resonated with you, please give the video a like and consider subscribing to our channel. We're dedicated to creating life-changing content to help you set boundaries, spark desire, and cultivate unforgettable self-worth. Your support means the world to us. Number 4, be the rare book on the top shelf. Imagine walking into a library, shelves upon shelves of books in every direction. Most of them are easy to reach, their covers and titles fully visible to anyone passing by. But then there are the rare books, those kept high on the top shelf, out of easy reach. These books carry an air of intrigue, a promise of something exceptional. They are not within arm's reach because what's contained within them is valuable, unique, and not meant for everyone. What if you could live your life as that rare book, offering only glimpses of yourself to those who are willing to reach, respect, and make an effort to know you? This idea of being a rare book on the top shelf is more than just a metaphor. It's a powerful approach to creating healthy boundaries and becoming unforgettable. Stoic wisdom teaches us that our time, energy, and presence are valuable, but they're often taken for granted when we make ourselves too accessible. As Epictetus once said, "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly." In other words, recognize the rarity of what you bring to the table and protect it. When you do this, you naturally draw in people who value you for who you truly are, not just for how available you are. Being the rare book on the top shelf doesn't mean being closed off or unapproachable. Rather, it's about selective accessibility. You're not handing yourself over to just anyone who wants to know you. You're inviting only those who are willing to put in the effort to truly understand and appreciate your depth. Think of it like a VIP experience. Not everyone gets the backstage pass. Your boundaries create a sense of intrigue and encourage people to take your presence seriously. By doing so, you set yourself apart in a world where so many are constantly giving away their energy without a second thought. Picture a rare first edition novel, a book that's handled with care, reserved for those who recognize its worth. If everyone could leaf through its pages, it would lose its rarity and value. But because it's kept in a special place, behind glass or on a high shelf, people view it with awe. Similarly, when you guard your time and energy, you send a message that your presence is precious. You teach others that knowing you deeply requires respect, patience, and intentionality. Now, consider what happens when you're always available, always saying yes, and always eager to accommodate. You become like the paperback novel on the sale rack, easy to pick up, easy to set aside. The mystery fades, and with it, so does the respect. But when you embrace the role of the rare book on the top shelf, you shift the dynamic. People begin to appreciate the moments you do share because they know they're not guaranteed. The desire to understand you, to get a glimpse into your world, becomes stronger because you are not handing yourself over freely. This approach isn't about playing hard to get. It's about living with intention and self-respect. When you respect your own boundaries, you create a magnetism that naturally attracts the right people, those who are willing to reach a little higher, make an effort, and value your time. You no longer have to convince anyone of your worth. Instead, you embody it, and people who truly appreciate it will notice. So, become the rare book on the top shelf. Let others reach for you. Let them make an effort. When they do, you'll know they're the ones who genuinely value your presence. In a world where people often give away too much of themselves, choose to keep parts of yourself reserved. Allow only those who recognize your worth to see what's within. Affirmation: I am a rare treasure, respected and valued by those who see my worth. Write this affirmation in the comments to commit to valuing yourself, and let it guide you in setting boundaries that protect your peace. If this message resonates with you, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. We're dedicated to bringing you empowering, life-changing lessons, and your support makes it possible. Number 5. Be the candle, not the flame. Imagine a candle glowing steadily in a dimly lit room. Its light is constant, warm, and inviting, never flickering wildly, never demanding attention, yet everyone feels its gentle presence. Now, compare this to a flame that flares up, burns brightly for a moment, then dies down, only to sputter again in a restless dance. The candle's glow is captivating precisely because of its calmness. It's consistent, unwavering, and reliable. Be the candle, not the flame. This principle holds a powerful truth about boundaries and self-respect. When you radiate a steady, intentional energy, you become someone people want to be around. You aren't seeking validation or bending yourself to meet everyone's expectations. Instead, you're centered in who you are, allowing others to come closer, not because you're chasing them, but because you're grounded in your own worth. As the philosopher Seneca said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. Like a candle shaped and molded, you refine yourself through patience and self-control, illuminating your space without losing yourself in the process." Think of a lighthouse, standing strong against the waves, its light constant and guiding. Ships look to the lighthouse for direction, finding safety in its steady glow. The lighthouse doesn't chase the ships or try to be anything other than what it is. Its purpose is simple but powerful: to shine, to guide, to be a beacon. By being the candle rather than the flame, you become like the lighthouse, creating an aura that draws people in by your mere presence and reliability. This quiet strength makes you unforgettable. When you embody the candle, you bring peace rather than chaos, calm rather than anxiety. The Stoics believed that true strength lies in controlling our inner state, regardless of what's happening outside. A flame responds to every gust of wind, every change in the air, but a candle remains steady, adjusting without losing its shape. When you carry yourself with the same calm energy, you become a source of stability in a world that often feels turbulent. People will notice, respect, and even seek out your presence because you offer something rare, an unshakable sense of peace and clarity. In relationships, being the candle means you don't let others' expectations sway your core beliefs. Imagine someone asking you to change your plans last minute, seeking your constant availability. Instead of jumping to please, you maintain your boundaries, choosing what aligns with your peace. When you do this consistently, others begin to respect your time and value your presence, understanding that you're not here to exhaust yourself for their convenience. Like a candle with a finite amount of wax, your energy is limited. You don't burn yourself out to keep others warm. When we act like a flame, we lose our sense of self in the rush of pleasing others, constantly adjusting to external demands. But, as the candle, we keep our core intact, conserving our energy for those who truly appreciate it. This is the power of setting boundaries. It isn't about shutting others out, but illuminating your own space, so others can recognize the value of being in it. Being the candle is about knowing when to give and when to protect your energy, creating a life that feels balanced and meaningful. As Marcus Aurelius once advised, "Be like the cliff against which the waves continually break, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it." When you embody this strength, you become someone worth pursuing, someone others respect because they sense that your time and energy are precious. So, choose to be the candle. Let your boundaries define your glow, steady and unwavering. Your calm will become your strength, and your boundaries will be the gentle warmth others seek. Affirm this in your heart. I shine steadily, respecting my energy and my peace. Write it in the comments as a commitment to yourself, and let it guide you towards setting boundaries that make you unforgettable. If this message resonates with you, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. We're dedicated to bringing you meaningful lessons to help you create a life of purpose, peace, and self-respect. Your support means everything to us. Number 6. Let absence be the silent teacher. What if the most powerful message you could send came not from words, but from silence? Absence is a teacher, a profound, quiet force that reveals truths words cannot. Sometimes stepping back speaks volumes. When you remove your constant presence, it creates a space where others can begin to see, value, and reflect on what they've been taking for granted. This is the beauty of boundaries. They create not only respect, but a sense of wonder. Think of a sunset. It happens every day, but if you miss it even once, you realize just how captivating and brief those colors in the sky are. The next time it happens, you're more likely to stop, look, and appreciate it. When you let your absence be felt, you become that sunset, a rarity, a beauty that others notice only when it's gone. By setting this kind of boundary, you're not being distant or cold. You're allowing others to recognize your value, free from distractions. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "Nothing is more honorable than a grateful heart." Gratitude doesn't happen automatically. It often takes the experience of loss, even temporarily, to ignite it. When you're always present, people may overlook the depth of what you bring to the table. But when they feel the quiet of your absence, that's when they start to understand the richness of your presence. Imagine a garden with a gate. If the gate is always open, anyone can wander in and out, rarely noticing the garden's beauty. But if you close the gate, you create an invitation for others to value what's inside. They learn that entry isn't a given, and they start to appreciate the experience of walking through, knowing it's special. Your absence is like closing the gate to your garden, not to exclude, but to create value. It signals to others that your time and energy aren't freely available. They're treasures that must be respected and earned. In relationships, this boundary can create a powerful shift. Instead of giving all of yourself continuously, allow moments of absence to let others realize what your presence brings. Absence doesn't mean abandoning people. It means creating intentional space for appreciation. When you step back, you give others the chance to miss you, to reflect on your impact, and to understand that your presence isn't something to be taken lightly. Absence can be uncomfortable, especially if you're used to being readily available. But sometimes, stepping away is the very thing that creates connection. If someone truly values you, your absence will inspire reflection and respect, not resentment. And if they're indifferent, then you have your answer. Their place in your life may not be as significant as you thought. Your absence is a boundary that helps filter out those who truly value you from those who only seek you out of convenience. This practice of letting absence speak can transform the way people relate to you. Just as a beautiful piece of art is more impactful when displayed in a gallery rather than a cluttered room, your presence becomes more meaningful when it isn't drowned in constant availability. Absence isn't a barrier, it's a mirror that reflects how others see you. And in this reflection, you see who truly values the time, energy, and presence you share. So the next time you feel the need to over-explain, to always be there, remember this: absence can be the silent teacher that words can't replace. Let your presence be a gift, not a given. My absence creates appreciation. Write it in the comments to make it real, and embrace the power of letting your presence be felt, not just seen. If this resonated with you, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. We're working hard to bring you lessons that inspire real transformation in your life. Your support means everything to us. Number 7. Guard your garden. Only the worthy may enter. Imagine your life as a lush, vibrant garden filled with the rarest flowers, trees that stand the test of time, and pathways that lead to your most treasured places. Now ask yourself, who do you allow into this garden? Are they there to appreciate the beauty, or do they trample carelessly over your blossoms? Guarding your garden, your inner peace, your time, your emotional energy, means choosing who gets access and who doesn't. Not everyone should be allowed to wander through. When you value yourself, you choose your company carefully, as the saying goes. Boundaries are like the garden gates, protecting what you've worked hard to cultivate. Just as a gardener won't let anyone trample on their carefully nurtured plants, you too must be mindful of who you allow into your life. Think of people in your life as either sun or storm. The sun nourishes, helps you grow, and respects the space you've created, while storms uproot, damage, and leave destruction in their path. You wouldn't invite a storm to stay indefinitely in your garden, so why do the same with people who drain your energy or disrespect your boundaries? The more you guard your garden, the more you attract those who value it. Imagine a gated botanical garden, open only to those who truly appreciate its beauty. People know they can't just barge in. They must respect the rules and show care. Your life should be treated with the same reverence. Those who enter should feel honored, knowing they're in a space that's protected, cherished, and only accessible to those who genuinely respect it. Guarding your garden isn't selfish, it's self-respect. By setting boundaries, you tell the world, I am worthy of peace, and I welcome only those who honor it. Let this be your affirmation. Only the worthy may enter my garden. Write it in the comments if you're ready to protect your peace and welcome only those who respect you. Number 8. Hold your silence as a currency. What if the most powerful thing you could say was, nothing at all? In a world filled with constant noise, messages, and social pressures, silence is a rare currency. When you hold your silence, you become unforgettable. Not because you've vanished, but because you've left people wondering. Silence, when used wisely, commands respect, curiosity, and even desire. It's not about shutting people out. It's about making your words and your presence so valuable that people lean in closer, eager to earn your attention. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." The wisdom of silence is something the Stoics understood well. To withhold words and choose to speak only when it matters. Silence can be a tool of incredible strength. When you don't always respond immediately, you show self-control, setting yourself apart in a world that craves instant reactions. Imagine, for instance, the allure of an unread book resting on a shelf. It's not a book that shouts or explains itself. It waits. The mystery of its pages draws people closer because it hasn't given itself away freely. By holding your silence, you create a similar kind of intrigue. People wonder what's beneath the surface, what you're thinking, or what they're missing. Silence makes room for curiosity, and in relationships, curiosity is often the seed of desire. Silence can also be a powerful boundary in itself. Think about the way an artist works. A blank canvas isn't just empty, it's filled with potential. When people approach you and don't receive an instant reply or a quick nod of approval, they experience the blank canvas effect. They start to consider the weight of their words, becoming more intentional in how they approach you, learning that they can't just expect immediate, unlimited access to your energy. Another example is a lighthouse. A lighthouse doesn't wave or shout. it simply shines, giving guidance to those who seek it without chasing anyone down. Your silence, like the light of a lighthouse, can be a gentle signal of strength and presence. Instead of constantly affirming your worth with words, let your silence create a quiet but powerful message that you are not easily accessible. When others recognize that you don't need to fill every moment with conversation or approval, they start to understand that access to you is a privilege, not a given. When you hold your silence, you set a standard that those around you learn to respect. Silence can act as a subtle teacher, reminding others that you don't need to rush to respond or be present in every conversation. Your silence becomes a mirror, allowing others to reflect on their own actions and, often, their own respect for you. It takes courage to hold your silence, especially when you're conditioned to believe that connection requires constant communication. But here's the paradox. The more you hold back, the more people lean in. Silence creates a space where curiosity and respect can thrive, a space where people start to value your words and your time. It's the quiet strength that speaks volumes. So next time you feel the urge to fill a quiet moment with explanation or approval, remember, silence can be your strongest voice. It's the pause that leaves a lasting impression. In silence, you convey a message that words sometimes fail to capture. A message that says, "I value myself, and those who truly respect me will value me too." Here's